Game of Thrones Season 6 is just getting started, and you know what that means. People are already predicting how it's going to end. Now that the show has caught up to the books and is venturing into unknown territory, it's really anyone's guess as to what will happen come episode 10. But with seemingly only 2 more seasons left on the horizon, you gotta expect that things are going to come to a head at some point, and that means blood is about to be shed. And I'm talking a lot of blood shedding. Hey everyone, I'm Neil with Cinematica, and we've got more predictions and an oracle telling Cersei that her children are gonna die. Now we know we're still a long way from the finale, and there's plenty of room for total game changers this season, so just consider this as a general overview of the events to come. How we get there, well, we'll just have to watch and see. But I'm foreseeing some White Walker destruction, some long overdue redemption arcs, and the beginning of a massive convergence on King's Landing by everyone who's anyone, and maybe a girl who's no one. That's right, we're sharing our Game of Thrones Season 6 predictions, so let's get started. Number 1. Sansa goes full badass. While we're talking about the redemption of the Stark kids, Sansa is overdue for a little redeeming, don't you think? Allying herself with Brienne of Tarth is a good start though, and maybe some of Brienne's badassery can rub off on her through osmosis. As part of this dynamic duo, Sansa can start reclaiming control, and we're thinking the first step of that should be to go after Peter Baelish, who basically got Sansa in most of her messes. Once she's got control over all things Tully, that'd be a solid time to expand her interest, like going after Walder Frey or Ramsay Bolton for instance. That may be treading on Season 7 material though, so we'll be patient. For this finale though, it's not too early, and it'd be nice to see a turning point for Sansa's character where her arc can finally go into an upswing for once, even if every other character is going on a downward spiral. Number 2, Bran sheds light on the Starks. Bran spent the last season MIA training with the children for the impending White Walker calamity. That means he's got a few new tricks up his sleeve, and this season would be a great time for him to show the extent of those new tricks. That doesn't mean warging into a dragon just yet, but maybe spending some time getting used to those sea legs. And by legs, I mean wings. He may not have too big of a role into the finale though, because we need to play a little catch up with him first. Plus, he wouldn't want to get too far away from the children. They helped the First Men fight the Whites back in the good old days, and as the resident children whisperer, Bran's in line to do the same. Number 3, Cleganebowl, get hyped! One of the most well-supported and fan-demanded theories in Game of Thrones is Cleganebowl, and it'd be a great capstone for the end of this season. There are entire videos explaining the intricacies of this theory, and we recommend checking those out, but here's the shorthand version. The Hound didn't actually die after his run-in with Brienne. Instead, he survived and is currently at a monastery on the Quiet Isle, as a born-again believer in the faith of the Seven. Meanwhile, back in King's Landing, Cersei demands a trial by combat to plead her innocence against the Sparrows and selects Sir Robert Strong, aka the Mountain, as her champion. For theirs, the crazy religious folk bring in the best warrior among them, the Hound Reborn! The resulting battle is a Clegane versus Clegane rematch of epic proportions. Of course, for this redemption arc to come full circle, it would mean that the Hound would have to defeat Sir Strong in battle, which is bad news for Cersei. And possibly good news for you, I guess, depending on how much you dislike Cersei. In the end though, it wouldn't really matter who claims the throne because winter comes literally all over the place. This is just TV math. The White Walkers were at Hardhome last season, so if they keep descending south, they'll eventually hit the wall, and winter fell not long after that. For the finale, it'd be great to see them go on a grand tour of these landmarks and wipe out everyone along the way, including Ramsay Bolton and his men. In general, Game of Thrones loves letting its villains off scot-free, whether that means dying an unsatisfying death like Joffrey, or just not dying at all. But what better way to show that the White Walkers are taking center stage as the main threat of the show than by having them trounce through some of the worst baddies? It would also show that they're not far off from King's Landing, which would be a killer cliffhanger going into Season 7. Daenerys finally goes to Westeros, please? Daenerys has spent more than enough time dawdling around Essos. Can we finally get her going on that whole breaking the wheel plan? At the top of the season, she was sent to Khal Moro, who sent her to the Dothraki Widow Temple. Now, our money is on the Mother of Dragons reclaiming the Dothraki army with her adorable dragons in tow. Then she can regroup with her people in Meereen, then take her massive legion of the Unsullied, the Dothraki, and the dragons across the sea. We're sure Tyrion will be just fine holding down the fort over there, and if he's going to survive the whole saga, that's probably not a bad place for him. As for Jorah Mormont, Lord of the Friend Zone, he's a ticking time bomb of grayscale, and we're betting he'd sooner sacrifice himself for Dany than let that petty skin condition get the better of him. Whether that happens in the finale or a climactic episode 9 moment remains to be seen. And our final prediction, Jon Jon Snow knows everything. Yes, from the moment that Jon Snow was murdered, we threw on our I Wanna Believe shirts and started plotting conspiracies for how he's going to return. And he did, thanks to Melisandre and her saggy granny body, the Lord of the Light, and Beric Dondarrion, the guy who keeps getting brought back to life. Now that he's back, we predict he's gonna have a lot to say about the stuff that went down over at Hardhome. Leaving the Night's Watch behind, he and Davos can go riding into King's Landing, Paul Revere style, declaring winter is coming, winter is coming. By that time, who knows who will be in charge? Daenerys? Cersei? The crazy religious folk? Hopefully it's someone who believes in him though, so that they can spend season 7 prepping for the all-out war that we're expecting in season 8. It would also be a great time to finally confirm that R+L=J, since the resurrection of Jon Snow would basically prove that he's the chosen one. Thanks for watching Cinematica's Game of Thrones Season 6 predictions. What are some of your predictions for Season 6? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, be sure to check out some of the other ones here on this channel by clicking on the annotations or the links in the description. We have new videos dropping each week, so let us know what you want us to cover next. And if you like getting more from your movies and TV, subscribe to Cinematica, where we help you watch smarter.